In the tapestry of life, there are moments that stand out like bright threads, catching our attention and pulling us along. These moments, these stages of a journey, aren't just chapters in a story. They are invitations, invitations to look inward, to face challenges, and ultimately to embrace the profound mysteries of our existence. You have arrived at this point in your life because you answered a call. Perhaps it was a quiet voice in your soul or a sudden upheaval that shattered the familiar. But whatever the form, you chose to listen. And now you've embarked on a journey that's reshaping your very essence. In the early phases of this adventure, you moved with the energy of inspiration. Enthusiasm painted your steps, and the path ahead seemed to stretch before you, full of promise and potential. However, the road has begun to wind. The initial enthusiasm has given way to a quieter resolve. Now the terrain shifts from smooth optimism to a more complex landscape. As you journey further, the road widens and forks in many directions. Suddenly, the path isn't just about moving forward. It's about navigating choices and embracing uncertainty. The challenge is no longer just in moving forward. It's in deciding which direction to take and trusting that each choice leads you closer to your destination. This phase is about recognizing that the journey is just as important as the destination. The twists and turns, the decisions, the moments of confusion and clarity, they all contribute to the richness of your experience. But this is just the second stage of your transformative journey. Stay with me as we dive into the next phase where the terrain becomes even more treacherous. Every journey, no matter how purposeful, has its moments of despair. You've probably encountered these phases before, those times when the road seems too rough, the burdens too heavy, and the destination too distant. It's in these moments that the weight of your journey truly sinks in. Doubts creep in, whispering tales of failure and futility. Disappointment sets in, casting shadows over your hopes and dreams. It's as if the very essence of the journey, the hardships, the sacrifices, and the constant striving are amplified. Why am I doing this? Why does it have to be me? When will things get easier? Questions like these echo in the chambers of your heart, seeking solace, seeking answers. In the darkest of these moments, you may find yourself questioning the very purpose of your journey. The why of your journey, which once burned brightly, may flicker like a candle in the wind, threatening to be extinguished by the harsh winds of adversity. Fear takes root, paralyzing you with visions of failure and missed opportunities. The allure of giving up, of turning back and seeking refuge in the familiar, beckons temptingly. In the depths of such despair, the world seems to conspire against you, testing your resolve at every turn. Setbacks become your constant companions, disappointments, your unwelcome guests. Each obstacle, each stumbling block serves as a stark reminder of your vulnerability, of the fragility of your dreams. But within this crucible of despair, there's a transformative power at work. Like a sculptor chiseling away at stone, these hardships shape and strengthen your spirit. They expose the raw edges of your resilience, forcing you to confront the limits of your endurance. This is where the true essence of your journey is tested. Your response in these dark moments defines the trajectory of your path. Will you succumb to the whispers of defeat, or will you rise above the ashes of despair, stronger and more resolute than before? This period of your life is about grappling with the heaviest realities. It's about facing the darkest corners of your emotions and emerging from them not broken, but refined. It's about learning to dance with despair, to embrace the shadows and find strength in the struggles. Remember, it's in the depths of despair that the seeds of true strength are sown. Before we continue, let me ask you a question. How do you handle moments of despair in your journey? How do you navigate the tough times? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Your story might resonate with someone else going through the same challenges. So far, you have heeded the call to begin. You have braved the road of the crossing point. There comes a moment when hesitation is no longer possible. The road narrows, the choices sharpen, and the journey demands from you a decision that will define everything that follows. This is the crossing point. Up until now, you could still pretend. You could still tell yourself that this was just an experiment, just a trial, just a dream you might abandon if it became too hard. You could walk with one foot in the past and one foot in the future, still half committed, still holding onto the safety of what you left behind. But the crossing point does not allow half commitments. It stands before you like a threshold, asking only one question: will you step through, or will you turn back? Sometimes, it takes the form of a single decision: signing the paper, leaving the job, confessing the truth. Sometimes, it is less visible, an inner choice, quiet but irreversible, the decision to finally let go of who you were and embrace who you are becoming. And once you cross, there is no going back. This moment terrifies us because it strips away our escape routes. The bridge burns behind us, the door locks, the familiar dissolves. What lies ahead is unknown, untested, unpredictable, and yet, it is the only way forward. Every great story reaches this threshold. The hero steps beyond the village. The wanderer sails past the horizon where maps no longer guide. The seeker leaves behind not only a place, but a version of themselves that can no longer survive in the new world. This is why the crossing point feels like death, because in truth, it is one. Not a death of the body, but of an old identity, an old certainty, an old self. And like all deaths, it demands courage to endure. But there is also a rebirth waiting on the other side. For once you commit fully, something awakens. Energy that was trapped in hesitation is released. Doors that stayed closed begin to open. You discover strength that only appears when retreat is no longer an option. The crossing point is not the end of fear, but the beginning of freedom. From this moment on, you are no longer simply trying, you are becoming. No longer dabbling, you are devoted. No longer wishing, you are walking. And though the unknown looms vast ahead, there is a strange and quiet power in knowing that the past can no longer claim you. This is the pivot of the journey, the place where the story changes forever. The place where you change forever. Once you cross, you do not look back. Because the only way out is the fall and the lesson. Every path upward carries with it a shadow, a descent. No journey of transformation is complete without collapse. For growth is not a straight line climbing endlessly toward the sky. It is a spiral, rising and falling, breaking and healing, dying and being reborn. This is the fall. It arrives when you least expect it. Just as confidence begins to grow, just as momentum feels steady, the ground gives way. Plans unravel, trust is broken, what seems certain dissolves in your hands like sand. You stumble, you fail, and sometimes you are brought to your knees. The fall is not gentle. It exposes your limits with brutal clarity. It shows you how fragile your strength still is, how human your resolve can be. It takes away the illusion that you are in control, that you can master every turn of the road. And in that exposure, shame often follows. You begin to believe the voices of the mirror again. I knew I wasn't enough. I knew this was too big for me. I should have never begun. You compare yourself to others who seem to be thriving, forgetting that every one of them has fallen, too. But the fall is not punishment, it is initiation. It is the fire in which false identities are burned away. The truth is this: there are lessons that can only be learned through loss. Strength that can only be built through failure. Depth that can only be reached by falling to the bottom. Because in the fall, all masks are stripped away. You cannot pretend, you cannot fake. You are forced to see yourself in raw honesty, not as the person you dreamed of becoming, but as the person you truly are in this moment, vulnerable, incomplete, still in progress. And it is here, at the lowest point, that a new kind of clarity emerges. You realize that the journey was never about perfection. It was never about walking without stumbling. It was about discovering the resilience to rise again. The fall teaches humility. It teaches patience. It teaches compassion for yourself and for others who are also stumbling on their own roads. And in its harshness, it offers a hidden gift: freedom. Because once you have fallen and survived, fear loses some of its grip. You begin to see that failure does not destroy you, it shapes you, that endings are not final, they are beginnings in disguise. The lesson is not found in avoiding the fall, but in embracing it. Asking, "What is this moment here to teach me?" and listening, not with pride, but with openness. You may not yet see it, but the fall is the turning point of your becoming. It carves space within you for wisdom. It plants seeds that will one day grow into strength you cannot yet imagine. The fall feels like death, but it is also the soil in which rebirth begins.